Beautiful day, Bravehearts. It's Dr. Sage Wolf, and today I'm going to be going over a little bit of like hip mobility exercises and how to keep this area open, how to strengthen those hip flexors. If you feel like any kind of snapping and popping, a little bit of scar tissue in there that's kind of retracting it. It could be weakness, but it could be a scar tissue issue. That is why we teach the Wolf non-surgical. But hips are such a key thing to our movement, our stability, me feeling like fortified in how I stand, feeling well adapted and balanced in life. And it also could have some emotional attachments to not knowing in what direction I'm going in, not feeling solid with my next moving steps. So it's something to constantly think about as we're doing these exercises, getting into our breath, breathing and letting go. So I always try to start off with like the pelvic squats. So pelvic squats are pretty straightforward. And right now I'm going to have my legs closer together and I want to come down. And if you can't get that low, have something in front of you, like a chair to support you as you're dropping down into the squat in itself. And so if I had like a chair in front of me, I would have that to support. And over time, like if this is as far as you can go, great. You want to hold it to where you feel not pain, but you need slight discomfort. So we know that you are getting some form of activation. So when I come down, I'm going to get down as low as I possibly can. I want to get my butt to the ground and I want to kind of stretch forward and feel that pull coming down the side of my glutes. And you can bring your arms forward and you can stretch it out. Hey there. So they're coming to do a little bit of exercise with me, right, Frankie? And you're gonna hold that for about anywhere between 2-3 minutes, if you can. And it's all about time with yourself. But like this is on my lunch hour. I just had a quick smoothie and then I'm gonna have some clients come in after to do more Wolf non-surgical because I'm out in Melbourne, Australia doing that right now. I will be back in February to teach the Wolf non-surgical course. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in learning, I would say one of the most powerful body techniques to open up that scar tissue and crystallization that causes these limitations. Come to the Braveheart Nation and you guys would love to change your lives and I'd love to help support you with that. And so after I did the squat with my feet more so close together, they don't need to be directly together themselves. You can, but if you don't feel that balanced, just have them a little bit separated as we come down. Once you've done that, we want to start to open up the hips a little bit more. Some of these are easier, some of them are a little bit harder. So as I have my hips just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, I want to drop down into that squat and feel it within my hip flexor and glute area. Once I start to fall lower, and I want to focus on getting that sacrum down to the floor and then keeping my spine nice, aligned and straight, chin up and staying within my breath. If this isn't enough for you, but at the beginning, you're going to feel it. You're going to put your elbows in between your knees and you're going to push apart to really widen that out. And I'm feeling that pull all along my sartorius and gracilis area, and that is helping me open up my hips. If this isn't enough for you and you want to kind of activate a little bit more, continue to widen those legs and kind of shuffle from side to side. And if you feel really tight here, one that I like to do prior to this is going to kind of get into that frog pose and open up and just put your knees on the ground if you can, and you're going to fall down. And the wider you go, the more you will feel the tension in the head of that femur. You're gonna feel that socket start to stretch out. And then you wanna bring yourself forward and it's a nice stretch in itself. And each stretch should always be held for anywhere between like 20-30 seconds, and that is good. But you really wanna just kind of give yourself moments, let it rest, and then hop back into it. So widening those hips like I was showing, I'll show it just from the side, sitting up straight, and then I'm coming forward. And like my pelvis right now, because I do this quite often, is lying on the ground. If it's not there yet, you might just be like here, and then just come back into it like that. And over time, those knees will start to shuffle to the side and separate for that pelvis area to open up and get lower to the ground. So that's really good prior to doing the pelvic squat in itself, where then I'm going to come down, place my elbows in between my knees and I push that open, and I'm just holding that stretch. And if you're not there, have something to support, and you're just gonna, over time, get lower and lower into that stretch in itself. But I've been doing this for quite a while, so it is a little bit easier for me. And you are going to hang out like this. If that is not enough, then I want you to start doing a little bit of mobility. So one knee down, and I'm feeling once again into the head of the femur, side of my gluteus maximus area. I'm feeling that tension pull. And you're going to bounce back and forth. And I want to do about like 5 transitions on either side. And that is activating those hips to really open up. If you feel like you're really weak within your hip flexors, you want to have some form of bottle or something that is going to be in front of you, so you kind of have like a guide to work over top and in between. And I want to separate those legs, and you're literally just focusing on activating my hip flexor and my quad area, and I'm going to just lift up 10 times back and forth over top of that bottle. If it's not high enough, or if it's too high, you're gonna maybe get like a small cup or something to kind of guide that I wanna focus, because it's more of like an isolation movement as I'm doing this. And you're just going to bring back and forth over top, roughly 10 times per leg. And that is going to really help strengthen those hip flexors. And then you would do vice versa on the other side. I try to separate those legs, and I bring one back and forth directly over top of that bottle, because I'm just using it as a guide to hold that isolation as I'm working over top of it. So doing something like this probably took me, I don't even know, like 5 minutes to go through, and I'm explaining it right now. If I just got into my breath and wasn't explaining, I would have been already done each individual stretch. And if I do that in the morning and the evening, you are going to strengthen and help open that elasticity, help and open up that adipose tissue. Because if you notice that your muscle bellies are starting to go, you know that your tendons and ligaments have already been really dehydrated, so they need some form of activation. After I do something like this, that's when our clapper comes really in handy, because then you can clap around the hip and into the groin area, side of the groin area, and that's going to also really stimulate a lot of lymph to start pumping and start flowing out, because everything flows down into this valley. This pelvis is shaped like a soup bowl, and toxins build up within that soup bowl area, and so we want to flush that out as much as possible. I want to get in tune with my root chakra and really feel well adapted and balanced. And so small things like that on a daily basis, guys, is so important for the body. You don't need to be doing your whole body every single day. I'm not clapping 5, 6, 7 areas a day. I'm focusing on 1 and 2, because that's going to be my major ailments. That's going to be my focus right now. And as these things start to get better, it's pretty interesting, because I'll have somebody come in, and they come in for some non-surgical, and I'm working maybe their hips or their one hip in itself, and I'll do 2, 3, 5 treatments, and they're going to get amazing results. But after I've opened up that scar tissue, we've gotten them to do some of these exercises, the clapping, getting their diet on track, their mentality there. Hey, buddy, you're going to notice that you're going to be like, oh, I'm starting to feel pain in my other hip, or I'm starting to feel pain somewhere else. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just you had a crying baby and a whining one. And you didn't hear the whining one until the crying one shut up. And so we dealt with that issue. It is now healed, and to a degree. And now it's like, hey, you actually have had all these other specific little ailments that we need to focus on, because our body is like a river. The more beaver dams along it, the more stagnation, the more putrefaction is going to build up. And so we want to get that flowing. But the better we get, we're going to start to do some recall healing. And it's like, wow, I'm starting to notice all these little ailments pop up from when I was a child. But this was my major focus in the beginning. But we want to, on a daily basis, you only get one of these beautiful vessels. So I want to treat it to the best way possible that I know how, which is through learning and experiencing and practicing different healing modalities on a daily basis. That's what we do at Braveheart Nation Doc and Detox. So That's why I train all around the world. We're going to have our course in January in Mexico. That one is going to be at Cala del Mar, beautiful resort. We're teaching the whole New World practitioner. So it goes through like the whole life coach, which is like learning how to mentally, physically, and emotionally treat yourself. And if you've ever, like if you already are a practicing practitioner, it's time to bring that game to the next level. And if not, and you just want to do it for yourself, do it for yourself and your friends and your family. How nice is it to learn these modalities? And then you could take this around eventually if you'd want to go to that level and start making money off of it, because everything, it comes down to people's health. We work all our lives to save all this money, to lose our health, to then end up spending all our money that we've made throughout our lives to save our health. And it's like, why don't we try to combine it and make it the best thing possible for me? And then from Mexico, I will be heading back to Melbourne, Australia. I'll just be doing the Wolf Non-Surgical here. And then from then on, I go to Canada, Barrie, Ontario. We teach the course there. And then that'll be in March. And then Sacramento, California in April. And then check us out at Braveheart Nation, though. You'll see a lot of different places that we are going. Like we're going to be heading to England. And so if you guys are interested, or if somebody on here knows of somebody who wants to bring their game to the next level, who wants to bring their health and healing to the next level, check us out at Braveheart Nation. I hope everybody is having the most blessed day, evening, night, depending on where you're at in the world. I will catch you guys tomorrow on the next one.